Hello, coffee lovers, and welcome to the God Country Live Video Podcast. Every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And now, live from Seguin, Texas, and other places around the world, your host, Jose Roberto Alanis Jr.
Hello, coffee lovers. It's 1900 and it's Jose with Third Day Coffee Seguin. And yes, my hair is long. And yes, I'm having fun with it. And if you hate it, it's because you probably can't grow it. Don't get your feelings hurt. I love you. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing great. I do have to do a couple of things because I am trying to share this in multiple places. And something has happened since I last did podcasting. And I don't know what exactly that is, except that it doesn't allow me to share it the same way I did before. So I have to go find it and share it. It's really weird. I don't understand it. And now I can't find it because it's just missing. I don't know where it's at. Oh, wait, maybe it's under events. Yeah, there you go. Okay. And, what happened? So it's not like going live anymore. Live event. Oh, there it is right there. Sweet. Okay, now I just got to figure out, it doesn't let me share it anymore like it once did. So anyway, I don't know. I did put it in other places on YouTube. So I put the link in YouTube. I guess I got to get rid of all these other windows because they don't do me any good. I can't share it like I used to. I am going to share one thing, though. Where's my thing? Okay, let me go to comments. There we go. Somebody in the comments, let me know how my volume is. Hopefully it's pretty good. I can't even see my name on the screen. What is going on here? How is that even happening? Let's just look for a second. And it doesn't show up where it used to show up anymore either. It's really weird. So I have to go here. Oh, there's a live right there. I click on that. Why is it not showing my name? I don't know. That's really weird. But if you can see it and you can read it or whatever, do your thing. I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm going to make sure that I have it in. Oh, look. Turn that off. Okay. So, if you can see my name or you can hear me, just put something in the comments. I think it's streaming. I think it's streaming on. I think it's streaming on Instagram too, if you're on Instagram. And it's definitely streaming on YouTube. And I'm going to entertain you here with one little bit of nonsense before we really get into content. And I'm going to share this and my screen. And I guess I'm going to turn this on over here because I want to know if I can hear it or not. Okay. I'm going to share. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so oh yeah, it's going. Sweet. That's funny. Okay. So that did work. If your coffee doesn't make you dance like that, you're probably drinking the wrong coffee. And I am going to put the website in the comments here, www.thirddaycoffeeseguin.com. And hit us up, get some of the best coffee this side of heaven. I'm going to start out with something different today. I'm going to give you a Gen X quote of the day. And because Gen X is the best generation ever, I don't care what anybody says. Next to the greatest generation. But other than that, we're right behind them. Gen X quote of the day. Pretty sure I died when I was 7, but my mom made me walk it off. True story. Really happened. On a serious note, we're still giving Bibles away. So if you want Bibles, just send us something. Hit us up. You know, why did that only go there and not go to? I guess I don't know what happened, but so there's a lot of weird things happening here on my live, and it used to be so much easier, and I don't understand what's going on anymore. But let's go to the live, wherever it's at. It's somewhere. Oh, there it is, right there, and it's going to let me comment. Yay! And we're going to put in the website. I can't do two things at one time, so I can't talk while I'm typing. But anyway, there you have it. And anyway, we're going to do a 30-minute format because an hour is too long. And that way in your car, you can get a whole segment of Third Day Coffee Seguin sponsored God Country Coffee podcast. Again, if you're in the neighborhood of needing a Bible, please reach out. We buy Bibles in bulk so we can give them away in bulk, sharing the gospel any way that we can. At the bottom of the screen, as you see, 988 suicide and crisis hotline. Doesn't matter if you're a veteran, civilian, first responder, that number will work. I did a post this week, about I really feel like God is calling me to evangelize about suicide, and I'm going to take that as seriously as I can, and I'm going to be about the Father's work, which is going to lead us into our topic for the day. Who we work for is the title for tonight. One other thing, at Third Day Coffee Seguin, it is always pumpkin spice season. So get online, order your pumpkin spice. We have pumpkin spice, caramel macchiato, maple nut, and Seguin pecan. And I've got some new stuff too that I haven't tried yet. These are all natural, and one of them is gingerbread, and the other one is cinnamon. And these are 100% all natural. There's no funny stuff going in there, and that's good because our coffee's organically grown in the 1,450 meters in the mountains of Honduras. So remember that. Hit up the website, thirddaycoffeeseguin.com. What I want to talk today is something that has really, really hit me this week. I have been struggling with my place of employment. I love what I do. I am very well compensated, but there's a lot of bureaucratic nonsense that goes along with it and paperwork that I don't do well. I'm also a crusty old veteran, and I don't do well with do this or else, because 999 times out of 1,000, I will choose the or else. I don't do well with stuff like that. What's up, Ginger? So that being said, tonight we're going to talk about who we work for. As Christians, we are held to a higher standard. That's just common sense. It's a basic, of life. No veteran likes that. You're absolutely right. Nobody, veterans don't like to be told anything. I feel, because I have 30 years of experience in my field of electronics, and because I've had a security clearance for over 15 years, I feel like I don't need to be told what to do. I didn't get where I'm at not being a self-starter. I have, one thing, and I'm not bragging about it. I'm just telling you that God has blessed me with some really incredible work ethic. And I get to work early and I stay late. And when I'm traveling and I'm on base, sometimes I'm working till 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night because I'm there. Like, what else am I going to do? And so I don't need to be told what to do every 5 minutes. I don't need somebody perched up on my shoulder asking me what I did, before lunch and what I did after lunch and all that other stuff. And so there's also an aspect of lack of respect, maybe. I struggle with that. But I feel like if you respected me, you wouldn't be pushing all this nonsense on me. And this is not coming directly from my boss. My job is complicated. There's a whole bunch of people involved and a lot of hands, and it makes for a big mess. But I get caught up in the red tape and the immediate, don't tell me what to do. I know what to do. I'm not an idiot. I know what my job is. I'm not a 10-year-old that needs to be held by the hand. I know what my job is. I know what my responsibilities are, and I know what I need to get done. So let me do it, right? And when it doesn't go that way, when there's lots of hands involved and they're picking away and trying to make you, yes, it's pride. It is. It's absolutely, there's a portion of pride there. My wife is on point always. Yes, there is some pride there. I'm not going to say it's all pride, but there is some pride there. Because I feel like I don't need to be held by the hand. I know what I'm doing. I know what my job is. I know what my responsibilities are. I know what I'm paid to do. I know that I'm going to do my job the best that I can possibly do in the confines of the contract, all that stuff, right? That's all givens. The problem is when we let our pride get in the way, which I do quite often. And I feel like I allow little things that really shouldn't bother me because I'm prideful. And it takes me to a place where I start getting irritated. And I don't give it to God. And then I get a little more irritated. And then I get to the point where I'm angry. And now I'm angry at work. And the people who make me angry are nowhere near me. They're thousands of miles away. I'm on a Air Force base in the middle of nowhere, Texas, working with some great people. But now I'm angry. And so everything I'm doing, I'm mad that I'm having to do it the way I'm doing it. Sometimes I let that go beyond anger, where I'm just straight up pissed off. I mean, there's no other way to say it. When you get to that point, from that point forward, everything is clouded. Connie's trying to walk me off the ledge. My boss is trying to walk. And when I say walk me off the ledge, I'm not talking about harming myself. I'm talking about like ready to walk away from that job. So Connie starts walking me off the ledge, and then my boss will call, and he'll, I have a unique relationship with my boss because, one, he's a Christian. When my son died, he didn't ask me questions about, well, how long are you going to take off? No, the only thing out of his mouth was, what's your mom's name? What's your wife's name? What's your son's name? What's your family? I want to pray for y'all. So I have a unique relationship with my boss. So my boss will call when he knows I'm frustrated, and he'll start walking me back off the ledge. And it takes a while. And Connie has to tell me several times, and then Justin will tell me several times. And because, I'll go to one of my men's groups meetings, and they're like, man, what's wrong with you? You look irritated. I am irritated. I'm mad, And so anyway, we have to remember who we work for. And I don't work for some company in Florida. I don't work for the Corps team. I don't work for the federal government. I don't work for the Air Force. I work for God, plain and simple. And the question that we have to ask ourselves is, with the jobs, with what God has given us stewardship over, are we treating it respectfully to God? Are we being respectful to our Father? And that's a tough one. When the dust settles and you're not angry anymore, and you're like, okay, I'm going to get into my prayer. How can I be all, godly and friendly and loving, and then, 2 days later, want to throw a chair out of a window? How does that happen? Well, several things. One is definitely pride. Part of it is not staying in constant communion with the Father. And if we would stay in communion with the Father, unseparated, constantly in the Word, constantly in prayer, constantly surrounding ourselves with godly men and women, we can minimize those events. We can minimize those things. We can not be as stupid as we are. Because let me tell you, man, I do some stupid things. I let myself get spun up over some stupid stuff. And it's not okay. Because not just because I'm being disrespectful to my Father, who gave me stewardship over this job, who gave me stewardship over, the clothes on my back. By the way, triple nickel, my boy Ruben and Chris, man, those dudes are top notch. Love you guys. I just talked to Ruben the other day. Anyway, sorry, I'm like a squirrel. Like, oh look, a bird. We have to focus constantly on our prayer life, constantly on the Word, because if we stop looking up, we start looking around at the world, and the world doesn't have anything good for us. I'm going to tell you right now. We have to be focused on the one true living God, the God who loves, the God who saves, the God who gives, the God who takes away. And that's a hard thing for most of us to swallow, because we like to think that we have some control in our life. And one of the things that Connie brought up in this journey that her and I have taken since November, and I think Justin brought it up too. When you lose a loved one, especially a young one like our son, especially to suicide. And I'm not saying it's any worse than losing a family. I'm just saying, in this case, for me, there's a lot of control that is just taken. And not that we have control in the first place, but there's a feeling of like all this control has been taken away from me. Oh, by the way, Ginger, will you tag Rob Garcia? I had a call with him, man. He told me to start tagging him, and I forgot to hit him up. But there's an aspect of control, and some of the things that I am dealing with, aside from the stress of work, because it is kind of stressful. There's a lot that you have to do. Just in order to move this pen from here to here, I have to do like 5 pieces of paper. I'm not kidding. I'm not even joking. Literally, if I touch this pen and it has a barcode on it that belongs to, the Air Force, there's so much that you have to do. So you have to keep track of that. And then I don't just do one base, I do 3 bases. So it compounds that. And yeah, after what Connie said, it forces us to realize just how little control that we have on our own lives. And for me personally, one of the things that's happened is sometimes I allow myself, especially when I'm angry and I'm frustrated with my work, with my job, I allow myself to feel like I'm on a tightrope, 1,000 feet above the air, off the ground in a storm. And I don't know, I've had that dream, I've had that vision during the day. Um, the thought comes into my head when I'm struggling with something. And I think I shared it with Connie. I may have or may not, but that's where we came up with the whole control thing. With that suicide, we've I feel like even though I didn't really have control because my son was a grown man, I still feel like I've lost control and I have to like I feel like I'm free falling almost, right? But the only reason that happens is because I'm not looking up anymore. I'm trying to find ways to fix it in the world. And like I said before, the world doesn't have anything good for us, folks. I'm sorry. You know, that, oh, they're still good. Yeah, there's good people. There's great people everywhere. You know, hell's going to be full of good people who didn't want to surrender to Christ. I said it. Beat me up for it. I don't care. It's the truth. There's going to be a lot of great people, humanitarians, philanthropists, rich people, poor people, people that never drank a drop of alcohol their whole life. They gave their money to the poor. They were great people, but they never surrendered their life to the one true living God, Christ. And unfortunately, they're going to spend eternity in a place that's hotter than Texas in August. It's a truth. It's a truth. It's not something that's fictional. It's not made up. And you know, if somebody comes across this podcast and you don't believe in God, let me tell you, I will make a bet with you. And if you follow it for 30 days in earnest, not like sarcastically, God will show up in your life in a way that you never imagined possible. I guarantee it. He's done it for me. He's done it for Connie. You know, our church is amazing. One of my mentors, he's going through chemo right now, got some numbers back on his second round or between the first and second round. And the doctor couldn't believe what the blood was showing. And he's like, the chemo is attacking, but your blood cells are also fighting it. And that's unusual. He said, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've never seen it. That's God, man. That's how God works. God's just amazing. And so we have to remember every single day who we work for, because it's easy to get caught up in the world, what the world says. Oh, I got to make so much money. I got to do this. I got to have this status. I got to have this title. You know, for military guys, I know we're big with pats on the back, you know, whether somebody gives us a challenge coin or we get ribbons. We are indoctrinated early on that we have to get rewarded for doing what we're supposed to do. I have got a lot of feedback that I do a great job for my bases. I don't get any awards. I don't, you know, they even send out these things and ask people, hey, tell us how your tech's doing. Oh, he's great. I don't really care. When I walk away from a customer and they're satisfied and their stuff's working, I'm happy. But we get caught up with the world. That's right. Connie's, I tell you what, man, I wish I had her out here more often because she's, but she's in the background and I get it. And that's where she wants to be. Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for man. My boss is not the guy in Florida. I'm sorry. It's not the guy on base. My boss is in heaven and he presides over all of us. And so if you can stop looking around at the world, focus on looking straight up, everything falls into place. I don't know how many of y'all remember, but you remember the knockers? It was a piece of plastic and it looked like a piece of paracord and it went to like 2 cue balls. They weren't as hard as pool balls, but they were like some kind of super plastic that you could totally knock yourself out if you got hit in the face or you get a black eye. And you would grab the tab, they were laying on the table. You would grab the tab and you'd pick the tab up, and the two balls would come together and they would hit each other. And then you just kept messing with the string and they would just hit each other harder. And then eventually they would hit and they would go up on top and hit. And so you'd be going like this and then you'd hit somebody in the head and crack their skull and they'd need stitches. But that was the 80s. Anyway, the point I'm making with the knockers is, let's say that string, the very top of that string is God. Okay. And we're at that fulcrum point. And everything else in our life is hanging off these two strings. And let's say that there's different parts of our life that is in disarray, right? We don't have it all together. That's me. The more that you look up and you pull towards the Lord, the closer you draw near to him, everything down here is going to pull together. Just like those 2 8 balls on that string. You pull the string up and everything comes together and gets closer. So we got to focus on him. And we have to remember, it's not who we are, it's whose we are. And we are children of the one true living God, the God who gave us dominion over all evil. He gave us dominion over the enemy. And we don't have to give him anything back. But we got to make the right choice here and here. And it's all got to be for him. It can't be for us in any way, shape, or form. So I'm doing really struggling a little bit to try to make this 30 minutes because I've always just rambled on. But, this is a quick, short message. And I just want you to ask yourself the question, who do you work for? Because if you start rattling off, well, I work for so-and-so and I work, man, you're not getting it. We work for the one true living God. And that's where our focus should be. That's where our heart should be. That's where our family should be. And so I implore you to get right with God. And if you're already fully surrendered, if you're already a all bought in Christian, but maybe you're backsliding, which, hey, we all do it. Stop. Open your Bible. That's how you spend time with the Lord. You spend time in his word. And I promise you, if you'll clear your mind of the daily clutter, pray before you read, and read, God will give you something out of every line in that book. I promise you, he absolutely will. And as you grow in your faith, you can read the same scripture again and again and again. and it will give you, you'll have a different meaning. And so, yeah, Ginger, I'm tracking with you. That's one of my things that I'm working on very hard, is to watch my language. And it's really hard on base in a room full of cops. It's easy to fall, but God loves us and he knows we're struggling. It's not okay that we sin because God already gave us dominion and we're making those decisions on our own. Just like Adam, Adam was not tempted by the serpent. Adam freely chose to sin. And here we are today, still suffering from that. So, but the answer is the blood of Christ. And that is the answer. I can't tell you enough. And like I've been saying in my posts, check on your brothers and sisters, call your battle buddies, make yourself uncomfortable and ask the questions that are hard to ask. Hey, are you thinking about harming yourself? Hey, do you know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? Hey, let me look at your stuff. What are you doing? Get in your children's business. Don't wait till you don't have an opportunity to. And I know that God will do work. It is all our responsibility to check on one another. That's what God intended us to do. Iron sharpens iron. So as one man sharpens another. I mean, we're supposed to yoke ourselves with other like-minded men and women so that we can serve the Lord. And everything should be to his glory. So remember that. And remember, we don't work for anybody in this world. We don't. We work for him, whose we are. And I am a child of God, and I do have power over the evil one. And I choose today to use that. So we'll see you next week on God Country Coffee at 7 p.m. Y'all pray for me, and I'll pray for y'all. And like I said, share the message. It is Suicide Prevention Month, but for me, it's going to be Suicide Prevention Day, every day for the rest of my life. And that's what my mission is. And I'm going to share it in a godly way. And I hope you will too. I love you guys. I pray that you have an amazing weekend. And I will see you next Friday at 1900 on God Country Coffee. Love y'all. God bless. Treat each other the way God intended us to treat one another, with love, kindness, and respect. Good night.